and good evening, America. Today is March 23rd, 2016. My name is Marlen Garcia, and my partner's name is...
And my name is Lizet Cruz, and this is Channel 9 News.
Hello, and I'm Jocelyn Completo. Have you ever heard of Chinese pregnant women who come to the United States in order to have an American citizen baby? Well, it's all happening here. Women are paying money to be taught how to trick U.S. authorities to come over to the United States. Police have now identified 500 birth tourism companies in the United States. Numbers of estimated Chinese immigrants are now in the tens of thousands each year who come here to have these Chinese birth tourism companies to be teaching them how to come to the United States to have their child. These trips are cost to $80,000, covering the whole package. These companies include housing, food, and medical expenses, and that's why these trips are so expensive. In China, these businesses are legal, except here in the United States, they're illegal. To lie and hide their pregnancies at the borders of the United States. Here in Southern California, about early March, authorities discovered this hotel room in Irvine, where authorities raided dozens of maternity hotels whom house these Chinese women. These are all founded in Orange County, and as you see behind here, the authorities are searching these locations known as Orange County, Los Angeles, and San Bernardino areas. Some of these Chinese companies include ABC Baby and Precious Beauty Baby. As of right now, authorities are cracking down on these companies, trying to stop as many as they can, but authorities only say that these companies are going to just keep expanding and expanding on American soil. That is all for this topic as of right now, but please check out our website for any updates on birth tourism.
Breaking news. The community of Los Angeles, 3 students were sentenced to prison for physical assaulting 2 following Chinese students, which is compared to the novel William Golding, Lord of the Flies. The book was about the British boys who were stranded in an island without no adult supervision and were descended to violence. According to the statements of Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, 20-year-old Young Yang Zhang, considered the ringleader, was sentenced on Wednesday to spend 13 years in prison. Her co-defendants, 19-year-old Zhang Jiang, got 16 years, and Young Yang, also 19, was sentenced to 10 years. The trio brutally attacked a girl, a 18-year-old Yaran Kamila. The victim was slapped and kicked, burned with the cigarettes, and was forced to knee and wipe cigarette butts and ice cream smeared off the floor. The group then took away her cell phone and her car keys and took her to a nearby park. While she was naked, the attackers burned her nipples, hip, and chest with the cigarette. Some of the victim's hair was chopped off by the group with scissors. The victim then was forced to eat her own hair. According to authorities, this assault was at least 5 hours. As you can see, Chinese immigrants are suffering from bullying, and we should stop this. In the United States. For more information, check out the website, channel9news.com.
Hello, and good evening, America. Today I bring you the forecast of Chinese immigration here in the United States. Here we will bring you the forecast of the 2,018,000 Chinese immigrants here in the United States. As you can see behind me, there are many certain areas where Chinese immigrants tend to live, and this is shown through the blue dots on this map of the United States. Some dots are bigger, others are smaller. Depending on the size is depending on the amount of Chinese immigrants. And now we head over to New York, to where a bigger dot is located. As you can see, in 1880, a small wave of immigrants came over to the United States, reaching a number of 1,100 immigrants here. Over the years, into the years of 2009 to 2013, a bigger wave came over to the United States, reaching to top numbers of 419,000 immigrants in the United States. This is all over a years of spans of Chinese immigrants coming to the United States. And this is just in the city of New York. Now we head over to San Francisco, another largely populated city in the United States. As you can see, in 1880, 9% of the population in San Francisco were Chinese immigrants. And we can see this in the pie chart up here, as most of them were Americans and a small percentage were Chinese immigrants. Now we look at this line chart below, seeing the immigration in San Francisco in the year 2013. In this line chart, we see that numbers have increased over the years to where it was in 1880 to now we are today. The highest point is up to 227,000 Chinese immigrants in just the area of San Francisco. Now we head over to another largely populated city known as Los Angeles. Here we see a bar graph of what immigration used to look like here in Los Angeles and what it is in the year 2013. As you can see, in the year of 1880, about only 3,000 Chinese immigrants lived here in LA. And now we are up to a number of 207,000 immigrants in the Los Angeles area. You can see how these larger points are more highly populated in the United States, and these smaller points around the country are smaller population points. With all these waves that occurred during history, we will keep you guys updated, the public, with checking out our website channel9news.com for any updates and this year's 2016 new population of Chinese immigrants in the United States numbers.
Many Chinese families are coming to the United States to give their children and families a better education, better jobs, and a better society to live in. Many Chinese families are leaving their children in the United States unsupervised, which means they leave them and they buy houses for them so they can stay in unsupervised with no adult in the house. This affects us in the United States because it brings so much violence if the children become any violent and are not shown the right things to do at the right time. In order to stop Chinese from coming and leaving their families unsupervised, we should now check visas thoroughly so we are informed that they won't be without a visa or with a false visa. We should be checking families' visas now thoroughly. It's been said that they will do this not for racial hate, but for security and for the best of each person. Statistics of numbers have been estimated. About 17,069 Chinese workers were in the mining industry. Between 1886 and 1924, almost 14 million immigrants entered the United States through the New York. The Statue of Liberty, they had arrived in the land of the dreams. To these anxious newcomers, the statue's uplifted torch did not suggest enlightenment. Liberty emerged as the mother of exiles. a symbol of hope to generations of immigrants. Chinese saw the statue a mother of all and freedom. Chinese immigrants arrived in America and looked for strike it rich with hopes of being able to send money back to their poor families, or of returning to China after a few years with nearly decent money. As Chinese faced an economic hardships in China, which supplied labor for America, the Chinese began the era of railroad building. The Central Pacific Railroad Company employed about 15,000 Chinese to construct the Transcontinental Railroad. And that is all we have about how the Chinese affected the American industry.
So throughout our newscast today, we have been receiving a few questions from you fellow viewers at home. Now we will answer a few of the questions from you Facebook viewers. Now we go to our first Facebook viewer.
Hello, my name is April, and my question for you guys is, in what time period did the Chinese immigrant group immigrate to America in the largest numbers?
That was a wonderful question, April. The answer to that we included in today's newscast in our weather report. In 1880 was when the large numbers of Chinese immigrants started to migrate here in the United States, meaning that in 1880 was when a large portion of Chinese immigrants came to the United States.
I have a few more questions for you. This is my second question. What factors pushed the immigrants out of their country?
That's a good question. Most Chinese immigrants came to the United States to provide money to those who stayed back in their country in China, as well as they also came to provide a better education for their children.
My third question is, how were they received here in America?
Thank you, April, for the great question you asked. As we included in our broadcast, many were abused physically, verbally, and emotionally.
My fourth question is, have they suffered discrimination?
As I said before, Chinese immigrants were discriminated by bullying.
My fifth question is, what are the greatest accomplishments and contributions made to America by the Chinese?
Some of the greatest accomplishments that the Chinese made were in the industry of railroad and the mining.
My next question is, how would America be different if the Chinese had never came?
Great question, April. America would be different if the Chinese immigrants hadn't came to America. With our population would be way smaller because Chinese immigrants have created such a big impact in today's society in 2016. Another effect America would have because the Chinese wouldn't have came to America would be that the mining and railroad industry would have suffered severely because of these missing immigrants.
My last question is, to what extent has the Chinese found the American ideals expressed on the Statue of Liberty to be true?
The Statue of Liberty was a reassuring sign that they had arrived in the land of the dreams. To those ancient newcomers, the statue's up a symbol of hope generations of immigrants. Chinese saw the Statue of Liberty of all and freedom.
And that's all for today's news. I'm Jocelyn Completo.
I'm Marlen Garcia.
And I'm Lizet Cruz. Hope you liked the show today. And this is Channel 9 News.